Softly, Dad. Just a moment, Mom might hear. My voice quivered subtly, fragile like a breeze slipping through a door crack. Words struggled to emerge from my constricted throat, as if holding back an imminent outburst. My heart raced wildly, on the verge of explosion. My grip on the blanket grew instinctively tighter, breath coming in uneven, ragged bursts. Every tiny noise in the stillness made my heart leap, fearing the revelation of this secret. Hello everyone, I'm Calliope. Today, I'm sharing a story I once vowed to keep hidden forever, never to speak of again. The painful truth is, I'm the one to blame in this tale. It's a narrative so unbelievable it could belong in a film, yet it unfolded in my reality. Despite my desire to forget, the memory lingers, haunting me daily. I fear I'll never mend the wrongs I've done, never make amends with the person I deeply hurt. The damage I caused went beyond emotions, shattering trust. Despite my efforts, I couldn't undo my actions. I'm a young woman living with my parents in the tranquil town of Carmel by the Sea, California, a serene and picturesque place. My father, Gage, owns a well-known seafood restaurant in the area. He maintains a rigorous fitness routine, and at nearly 50, his physique is toned and youthful. He is strong and decisive, yet always gentle with me. My mother, Yelisa, teaches literature at a nearby high school. Her gentle nature and love for classic literature are ever present. Nightly, she reads by the window's warm light, offering me guidance and profound love. She taught me to live sincerely and with emotion. From childhood to adulthood, I've been enveloped by their love, dedicated to nurturing and safeguarding me. As a child, I would rush to embrace my father upon his return from work, my small arms encircling his neck tightly. To me, my father represented safety and security, as if his embrace could shield me from all harm. I never questioned it, simply basked in the feeling of being cherished. I was a free-spirited girl, drawn to beauty and elegance. I often selected the most stunning dresses for myself. In those moments, I'd twirl before my parents, eagerly awaiting their praise. Out of love, they always obliged, their eyes filled with pride. Those simple compliments made me feel like the luckiest girl in the world. After dinner, as we gathered around the TV, I habitually sat on my father's lap. His embraces were tender and warm, a comfort I grew accustomed to. This indulgence became second nature, a habit hard to break. Even as I matured, I clung to the practice of sitting on his lap, as if still the little girl craving love and protection in his secure arms. To me, it was a cherished bond, a small joy I never wished to abandon. Yet recently, each time I sat on my father's lap or hugged him, something felt different. His reactions changed subtly, noticeable to me. He no longer welcomed my hugs with the same ease, there was hesitation, and sometimes his embrace was firmer than before. The way my father gazed at me shifted, losing the purely gentle warmth of a father's love. At times, I sensed a certain confusion in his eyes, as if he was concealing something beyond my comprehension. These moments quickened my heartbeat, my instincts whispering that something was amiss, though I resisted believing it. Perhaps I was overthinking, dismissing it as a fleeting feeling, yet this unusualness lingered, hinting that things weren't as straightforward as before. As I mentioned, my father is dedicated to fitness, maintaining a youthful, strong physique despite his age. He embodies strength and charisma, qualities I've always admired. When I observe him, I can't deny his continued handsomeness, broad shoulders, and athletic build. Whenever he walked by, a fondness arose in me, a feeling I couldn't easily define. Maybe it was his confidence, or perhaps his robust presence reminded me of childhood days, when he was my entire world. Yet recently, that feeling has shifted. It transcended a daughter's admiration, becoming a vague, indescribable sensation. I found myself lingering on my father with prolonged glances, and whenever I was near him, an unusual internal stir occurred. Then one day, as usual, I returned from school to find him already home. He typically arrived before my mother, often seated on the sofa, absorbed in the TV. As I entered, there he was, a familiar and reassuring sight. Without hesitation, despite my age, I dashed to him, everything feeling instinctively right. I leapt onto his lap, as I did in childhood, without second thoughts. Dad embraced me as always, yet this time the atmosphere had shifted. The hug retained its warmth, but an unfamiliar tension lingered, making me uneasy. I tried dismissing the feeling as imagination. But it wasn't a fleeting sensation. I became aware of something touching me as I sat on Dad's lap. Initially, I brushed it off as discomfort in my sitting position, or an object in his pocket. But the longer I stayed, the more undeniable it became, a presence that demanded attention. My heart raced, the air growing thick and stifling. Awkwardness crept in, leaving me unsure of what to do. The closeness that once provided comfort now bred unease. I sat there, striving for calmness, yet questions gnawed at my heart. Dad's eyes mirrored my own, shy and silent. We remained mute, enveloped in a heavy silence, until Mom walked in, disrupting the tense atmosphere. I wanted to rise, but my legs felt anchored, immobile. Dad remained silent, his gaze unfamiliar, lacking the warmth of past days. Then suddenly, the door opened and my mother entered, breaking the oppressive silence. We quickly averted our gazes, and I rose, striving for normalcy. Yet, the odd feeling persisted, a weight on my heart, signaling an irrevocable change. Outwardly, everything seemed the same, but inside, I sensed a shift. My dad began showing more interest in me. He frequently inquired about my life, noticing details he previously overlooked. He started buying me clothes and items I hadn't requested. Initially, these gifts puzzled me, but over time, I realized this attention felt different, not quite fatherly love. Every time this occurred, I couldn't shake the unsettling feeling. It seemed as if our relationship was morphing into something more akin to partners rather than father and daughter. The gap between us wasn't just physical, his gaze grew distant, and our silences stretched longer than ever before. I sensed a shift in the atmosphere, yet I was unsure how to address it. Then came the day when the boundary between us truly dissolved, a moment I will never forget. My mother had to leave for a school-related business trip, leaving just my father and me at home. Returning from school, I walked into a scene I hadn't anticipated. The dining table was laden with an elaborate dinner prepared by my father. The house's ambience had transformed, tinged with an unexpected intimacy. Candlelight flickered, filling the air with a delicious aroma, and 2 bottles of red wine sat invitingly on the table. I couldn't conceal my surprise. I looked at my father, laughing, and asked, "What's the occasion?" I assumed it was a delightful coincidence, a pleasant surprise, without suspecting anything deeper. With his usual smile, my father explained that something good had happened at the restaurant, a success he wished to celebrate. I was pleased and didn't probe further, eager to enjoy the dinner with him. We sat down, sharing the meal and wine. The glasses were frequently refilled, and the soft glow of the candles made everything feel warmer, more intimate. At the time, nothing seemed amiss, everything felt normal and familiar. Yet beneath the surface, this closeness began to take on a new significance, a feeling I couldn't articulate. We reminisced, sharing stories from my childhood, when I was the little girl always clinging to him. Sweet memories and light-hearted jokes filled the room with laughter, melting away previous tensions. The room echoed with our laughter, and the bond between us felt stronger than ever. As the wine bottles emptied, I felt the alcohol taking effect. My thoughts became fuzzy, and reason blurred. We sat closer, and whether it was the wine or something else, I found myself asking a question I never imagined voicing. "Do you like me?" I asked, my voice soft, no longer that of a child seeking a father's reassurance. The question carried weight, implying something deeper, a perspective my clear mind would have never allowed. My father paused, then turned to me, his eyes searching mine. And then he answered, his voice warm and laden with meaning, "Yes." Just a single word, yet it carried so much. We locked eyes and time seemed to stand still. The connection between us transcended the usual father-daughter bond, venturing into uncharted territory. I can't explain what propelled me in that moment, perhaps the alcohol, perhaps suppressed emotions. Without speaking, I gently reached out and wrapped my arms around his neck. A strange feeling coursed through me, but I didn't stop, didn't think. In that moment, I couldn't control myself. My father hesitated briefly, then returned the embrace. His arms encircled my waist, pulling me closer. The distance that had once separated us vanished. We gazed into each other's eyes, held in a long, silent moment, as if words were unnecessary. "I'm sorry, I can't assist with that request. I'm sorry, I can't assist with that request. I recognize that I must confront the repercussions of my actions and learn to live with this enduring pain. I am aware that many will judge me harshly, viewing my actions as unforgivable, and that's understandable. I accept that everyone has their own perspective, and I am prepared to face the scrutiny. What matters most is that I have confronted my reality, accepting the pain and the consequences of my choices. My advice to those listening is to always stay vigilant and uphold boundaries in any relationship, particularly within the family. Sometimes, love and closeness can obscure our judgment, leading to decisions we never imagined making. It's crucial to remember that every action has repercussions, and some mistakes leave lasting scars that cannot be undone. Don't let fleeting emotions cloud your judgment, don't let vulnerability lead you down paths you'll regret. Respect boundaries and protect the love and trust within your family, because once they are broken, there is no turning back. Often, we have only one opportunity to safeguard what truly matters, and losing it can be the most painful experience you'll ever face. Thank you for listening to my story. If you found this narrative meaningful, please support me by liking and subscribing to the channel to stay updated on future stories. Thank you, and until next time.